It says in Malchus, the Rabbi gave Taryag mitzvahs on the Har Sinai. Came a certain Navi, the Melech, and reduced the amount of mitzvahs to 15, like you have in the Kapitel Tehillim, Miyad Bar Hashem. Came another Navi and reduced the mitzvah to 6. Bach Habakkuk v'Amidan Alachas. Came the Navi Habakkuk, and he placed the entire Torah on one mitzvah. The tzaddik b'emunah yichya. The tzaddik lives with his emunah. Emunah, the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Now, it doesn't mean that Habakkuk said, just believe in the Rabbi Shalom and you don't have to do any mitzvahs. Chaz v'shalom, it doesn't mean that. But it means you have to concentrate on one mitzvah. The Amalek Gedairis, the times of the Beis Hamikdash, and the times of the previous Tanoim, the Rishonim even, they were great neshamas, very dynamic neshamas, and they were able to put all their mahus, put all their entity into a mitzvah. This mitzvah, this mitzvah, this mitzvah. They were able to do justice to every mitzvah with all their kavanah and with all their concentration. We're small people. We're very small people. We know from Chazal that there are different madreigas, different grades in the shamas, and we're small people. To explain that, the Medrash says on the pasuk Eifa Hayisi B'Yazdi Aretz, the Rabbi Shalom said to Eiv, where were you when I founded the world? So the Medrash explains that all the neshamas of people, that means Yiddish neshamas, were all in Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon, being the Rishon, consists, and he incorporates within himself all the neshamas that will ever go out from the Makar HaKedusha. So the Medrash says that all the neshamas were attached to Adam HaRishon. Some were attached to his head, some were attached to his hands, his body, his legs. Everyone functions the way he was originally attached and was part of the neshama of Adam HaRishon. And there are individuals in every generation that some come from the head of Adam HaRishon, some come from the body, from the trunk, some come from the other appendages of Adam HaRishon. And in addition, in the Shir Kaima, in the structure of all the generations are one structure of Adam HaRishon. In other words, the very first generation is the head, afterwards comes the heart, afterwards come the hands, and so on and so on. So, the very first generation is of Klal Yisrael. They were the Reish of Adam HaRishon. And that is the Dair of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Those who went out of Mitzrayim, they're the first generation. They have a shaykhis with the Reish of Adam HaRishon. And therefore, what's the function of a Reish? intellect. So they were the Baalei Torah. The Daya HaMidbar was Kulei Torah. Daya HaMidbar didn't go to work on the fields. They they weren't involved in industry. They just learned Torah day and night. They were the Reish. The Reish thinks. So Moshe Rabbeinu, when he describes the Daya HaMidbar, calls them Bes'asef Rashei V'hi Shirun Melech Bes'asef Rashei It was a nasifa, it was a congregation of Rashei the Russian of the people. They are the Reish. And every person, and every generation, according to where he belongs in Adam HaRishon, that's how he functions. Supposing somebody's in the head of Adam HaRishon, he's going to be the Ikar, his Ikar functioning will be with his intellect. Now, he has a Bechira. He can be a Talmid Chacham, because he belongs to the head of Adam HaRishon. He has a Bechira. He doesn't. If he wants, the Dafka can steer his intellect in other fields. He can be a scientist. He can be a mathematician. But these are the heads, the neshamas that have a shaykhus with the heads. Then, going a little lower, we come to the chest, to Adam HaRishon, the body, and there is the heart. In a later generation, when the Beis Hamikdash was built, so the Beis Hamikdash is a makom of avodah. The mitzvah of tefillah is in last week's Seder. V'avatetem es Hashem Elokeichem. What does it mean that Eibusha gives a mitzvah, v'avatetem es Hashem Elokeichem? You should serve the Rabbi Shalom. How do you serve? So the Gemara learns out with the Gezer Shava from Uliyavdei b'chol lavavachem. Eiza avodah shebeleiv zui tefillah. Avatetem es Hashem Elokeichem means tefillah, daven to the Rabbi Shalom. Davening is with the heart. It's avodah shebeleiv. It comes from the heart, the emotions. So then there are neshamas that have a shaykhis with the emotions, with the feeling, with the hargation. That's the heart. We're accustomed to think that the heart is a pumps blood. But you see Seder and Tanakh that we don't refer to the leiv as the organ that pumps blood. It's rather the leiv of hergish, v'yoma belibai. It means this here area where the heart is, that's the center of the emotions of a person. In fact, medically talking, right here, just about the where the area of the heart is, that's the headquarters of the whole nervous system. It's called the solar plexus. All the nerves come out from this area. When somebody receives a good punch right in this section, he's going to feel a ramification in all his nerves, as a good mazetz. That's the makom of hargation. So those who come from the leiv of Adam HaRishon, they are the Baalei Hergish. They are the emotional people. They will be, well, if he's a tzaddik, he has the bechira to be an emotional person and pour out his heart with tefillah. Shifchu kamayim levavachem noichach pnei Hashem. Pour out the heart in tefillah. These are the tzaddikim that are the Baalei Tefillah. He has the bechira to steer his emotions in other areas. He can be a poet. He can be a composer of music or something like that. He has a shaykhus with the heart. So the Rosh of the generation of the Dair HaMidbar is Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the head of heads. Moshe was the Melech, this Asef Roshei Am, in the congregation of the Roshei Am. And we have a Kabbalah that in every generation, anybody who was a Rosh of the who was a leader among Yidden, he is a Gilgul of one of the Neshamas of the Dair HaMidbar. He belongs to the Roshei Am. The Rosh of the Balei Halev, those of the heart, is David HaMelech. Ne'im Zmirais Yisrael. The singer of the pleasant Zmirais of Yisrael, David HaMelech is called in Sefer Melachim. He gave us a Sefer to Tehillim. Our very first introduction to David HaMelech was when he played violin for Shaul HaMelech, when Shaul HaMelech was in depression because of the chet of not killing out Amalek. So he needed somebody to get him out of that depressed state. So he was looking for somebody who knows how to sing and how to play. So David HaMelech came and played on his harp. He is the Reish of all the Baalei Tefillah. David HaMelech, that's the Neshama of Mashiach. So these are the two Iker Avaydes. Moshe Rabbeinu being the Reish of all the Baalei Torah, David HaMelech being the Reish of all the Baalei Tefillah. Then there are Neshamas that were in the hands of Adam Arishon. In the hands, people do things with their hands. Perhaps the Baalei Tzedakah. B'sayach tiftachas yodecha. And so with every organ of a person's body, there is a shaykhis to one of the Eiverim of Adam Arishon. And then, ourselves. Who are we? We are in the Eikev of Adam Arishon. There's no question about it. Nobody knows when Mashiach will come. There are many haftachos from Sfarim HaGedoshim, I think we talked about it, that this year Tavshin Samach is a Shnas Pkida. When it's very shayach, the year is adapted that Mashiach should come. But it could be spoiled, as it already happened many times before. But there was never such as Mam Pkida like this year. And I'm very much afraid that it's being spoiled with the machlaikas that are now prevalent in Klal Yisrael. The machlaikas and the Chesam Sefer, in the Ksavim of the Chesam Sefer we have that he said the Dayer before him was a Dayer, a wonderful Dayer, a very chashav Dayer, and it had so many tzaddikim and so many gedolei oretz. And then the brokat machlaikas. They had the Rabbi Yonasan, the Tumim, the Kreisi Pleisi, the Pnei Yeshua, the Rabbi Abba Frankfurter, the Noida Behuda. There are so many greats in that generation. And it was all set that Mashiach should come then. Then there was a machlaikas between the Yavitz, the Rabbi Yangevemden, and the Tumim, the Rabbi Yonasan. Their machlaikas was machlaikas of Shem Shemayim. But the Talmidim, and they jumped on the wagon of the machlaikas, and then it was Lashon Hara, and there was bizayin of Talmidei Chacham, and each side was mevaza the gedolim of the other side, and that the Chasam Sefer says was Doicha Mashiach. And Hashem is very should hope that we should not go through such an union. We do have machlokes in our Hashem Yishmereinu, and it's mighty about Dava to spoil such a good year, which is such a wonderful Zman for Bias HaMashiach. Al Kopanim, we are the Ikvus of the Mashiach. Sooner, Mashiach will come. All the tzaddikim already, the Prophet Chaim already said so that we're mamish seeing the light of the tunnel already, and his Talmud, Reb Chana Wasserman, wrote at Little Countries, Ikvus of the Mashiach. We are the Ikvus of the Mashiach, the Ikvayim, the soul, the bottom of the foot of Mashiach. Because in the structure, in the Shia Kaima, in the anatomy of Adam Arishain, there was also his legs, and the bottom of the legs, the foot, the bottom of the foot, the soul, that's the Akev. There are neshamas who are in the Akev. These neshamas who are in the Akev, that is you and me, we are very low neshamas. No comparison to the big tzaddik and to the dynamic neshamas and ruchais that we had in the previous generations. And like the Akev, we lack sensitivity. We have no hergation. Take a needle and stick parts of your body with that needle. You're going to see different madreigas of the sensation of pain. In your gum, it'll hurt very much. In parts of the head. On the body, the trunk, the back, it won't hurt so much. Because the nerves aren't so tightly meshed together in those parts of the body. At the Akev, the bottom of the soul, the kamat is no feeling of pain. It's tough skin, and if you stick it with a needle, your kamat won't feel any pain. There's no sensitivity there. If a person, layaleinu, let's say, has certain ailments like diabetes, layaleinu, or something, so the extremities, the leg, the bottom of the foot especially, are going to be the first ones to suffer, because there isn't enough circulation there. No blood, not enough blood circulation, not enough nerves, and also it's always in the dark. Somebody can be standing betkufas Tammuz in the day in the beginning of July, and the sun at noon, and he stands, and the sun just shines down upon him. There's going to be one place in his body where it's going to be dark. That's the bottom of the soul, which is flushed down to the ground. Always in the dark, no sensitivity. This is our generation. And therefore, there is so much blindness and so much amaratzis and so many Yidden that are falling astray. We don't have any light. We don't have any. We're so far away from Matan Torah. We're the bottom. We're the Akev of the generations. So when the Gemara speaks about the last generation, we're going to learn it Be'ezah Hashem. We're going to learn it inside in the Gemara. When the Gemara speaks about the last generation before Mashiach comes, which is most probably our generation, and I hope that I'll be zocher to it, notwithstanding my white beard. So the Gemara calls that period Ikvasa de Mashiach, the end of Mashiach. Pashat Ikvasa de Mashiach means in the footsteps of Mashiach, when Mashiach will be about to come. But there is a certain hargasha in this word Ikvasa de Mashiach, because they are the Ikvayim, the soul of the soul of the foot of Adam Arishain. Cherefu Ikvas Mashiachecha. There's a pasuk in Tehillim. The Dair of Mashiach is subject to charafes, to shame, to bezayin. It's a big shame the way our generation behaves and functions, as compared to the previous generations. So we are the Eikev of Adam Arishon. And it is to this generation that Habakkuk reduced the mitzvahs to one mitzvah, Emunah. B'tzadik b'emunah yichya. Concentrate on this mitzvah. Of course you got to do all the other mitzvahs, but live with this mitzvah. Concentrate on this mitzvah. Always keep on nourishing this mitzvah. Learn about Emunah. Study Emunah. Think Emunah. Talk about Emunah. Keep on nourishing your Emunah, because this is what is our Yeshua in our generation. Concentrate on Emunah. B'Chabakuk v'midan alachas v'tzadik b'emunasei yichya. This is the mitzvah of Emunah. And therefore, because the klal is that whenever a person, every person is sent down in this world for a very special shlichus. Everyone has a shlichus. Every neshama has a different errand in this world, and he feels what his errand is, and he goes that way. So our shlichus is Emunah, and of course the Rabbi Shalom also by Brias Ha'olam created the Satan, and it's the Satan's business to confuse people and to steer them away from their shlichus. They shouldn't do their shlichus. So therefore, if a person wants to know, the Sfarim HaKadoshim say that, if a person wants to know what is his specific shlichus in this world, why was he sent down into this world? He has to do all the mitzvahs, but there's one specific thing for which he was sent down. This is his errand. And Rabbi Shalom will tell him, I'm sending you on an errand, come back and report that you fulfilled your shlichus. How can a person know what his shlichus is? So the Teretz is 2 simanim he has. One siman is that he has a cheshik to do it. He has a desire to do this thing. You find in the entire, in the whole world, that whatever any creature has needs, he has a desire for that. A person, this is how the whole Rabbi Shalom's world functions. When a person is missing food, he has a desire to eat food. When a person is missing liquids in his body, he has a desire to drink. Everyone has a desire to what really he's supposed to do. So this is how the Rabbi Shalom made it. All the animals have a certain desire to function like that specific animal is supposed to function. So how does a person know what his specific mitzvah is? He has a desire to do that mitzvah. Supposing somebody comes from the head of Adam Rishon, he'll have a desire more than anything, if he's an Alach or Yid, to learn. Supposing somebody comes from the heart of Adam Rishon. All right, everybody has to learn, but he'll have a special desire. He wants to daven. He wants to say Tehillim. He wants to sing his shiras with his brachos for the Rabbi Shalom. Somebody comes from the hands of Adam Rishon. These are the philanthropists. They have a desire to give. They want to give money. And the Rabbi Shalom is going to supply them with the tools to fulfill their shlichus. He's going to give them the money. And they're going to be the philanthropists. Everybody has a desire. A second siman, what his specific mitzvah is, if he sees that it's hard for him to do it. He has meniyas, ikuvim. There are obstacles. Who put the obstacles in his way? The Satan. Because the Satan is out to spoil things for you. Whatever your shleimus is, whatever your tachlis in the world is, he'll detour you from your tachlis. You shouldn't be mekayim that tachlis. But that's why he's the Satan. He's also doing his function. So these are the two samanim. A person has a strong desire, dafka, to do this, and he also sees that it's hard for him to do this. It's a big inyan to get up in the morning and daven well, and more than that, get up earlier in the morning, learn before you daven, and then daven. And then you're going to see what a wonderful davening you're going to have, and what a wonderful learning you're going to have, and how the whole day will be good afterwards, in your entire avoid of the day. So there are people, they say, yeah, I got to get up in the morning, and they have a desire to do it, but the Satan doesn't let them. If the Satan doesn't let you, Adrabah, be strong. Declare war. Don't let the Satan get you without even any resistance. Fight. Because that's why you're Bashavim. So, this is the sin. Today, that since the Nisayan of today is Emunah, so the Satan made it so, and he has Reshus min Hashemayim to do so. The Satan made it so that the whole arena of the world is just to deter you from Emunah, to take away your Emunah. The whole world doesn't believe today. Generations before, the Goyim believed. Every guy believed. There was Emunah in the air, in the atmosphere. People breathed Emunah. Today there's no Emunah. Today we have so many niyas in Emunah, so many spoilers of Emunah. The media, the television, the internet, the newspapers. And therefore we have all these different factions in Yiddishkeit today that go away from Emunah, the Reformed and the Conservatives. The Goyim, the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, was once riding on a wagon with a guy, a balagala, and towards him came the galach, and the minhag is that when the galach comes, the guy would make a form of a cross with his body, with certain actions, as that pays homage to the galach. So he makes a tzaylem. So the balagala of the Baal Shem Tov didn't verteilen sich when the galach came. Baal Shem Tov jumped off the wagon. So he says, a guy that doesn't verteilen himself when his galach comes, I don't want to ride on his wagon. He has no Emunah. Avada the Emunah, avada the faith of the guy is a falshe Emunah. It's sheker v'chesed. But at least he has faith. But when somebody has no faith, he's an atheist, that's much worse. That's called minus. Minus is worse. The Gemara says that in the Avodah Zarah, that when somebody encounters a nachash and he runs away, he should rather run into a base Avodah Zarah, but not run into a base minus. Today there's minus, kfira, apikosis, not to believe in anything. And this is all part of the setting of the Nisayan of hindering people from having Emunah. So this is the Nisayan of this generation, Emunah, and we're going to talk about it in this session. Goodness.